Imagine this. It's May 3rd, 1971, and you live in the small town of Fouke, Arkansas. You get your local newspaper, the Texarkana Gazette, and you skim through it. But something happens to catch your eye. It's an article by the journalist Jim Powell, and it's titled, "Hairy Monster Hunted in Fouke." I'm going to read you a little excerpt from this article so that you kind of understand what the vibes are. Miller County Sheriff's Department officers said early today a search of the area where a mysterious creature was spotted near Fouke early Sunday failed to reveal a clue. Members of my department searched the area but didn't find a thing. I don't know what it could have been, Sheriff Leslie Greer said. Bobby Ford, 25, of Route 1, Box 220, Texarkana, Arkansas, who lives approximately 10 miles south of Texarkana on U.S. Highway 71, said the unidentified creature attacked him at his home shortly before midnight on Saturday. This was the start of the publication of several sightings of some sort of hairy beast in Fouke, which the locals called the Fouke Monster. This creature had been sighted since the 50s, but it hadn't gotten much traction until 1971. The Fouke Monster was also the inspiration for the docu-horror series The Legend of Boggy Creek, which came out in 1972. Now, I originally saw the aforementioned film when I was fairly young, probably like 6 or 7. I actually had it on DVD because my father really enjoyed Bigfoot documentaries for some reason. He's like the Reggie White of being interested and knowledgeable about the most boring and unimportant things, but I was really afraid of this movie, more specifically the cover of this DVD, because look at that. You're gonna sit here and tell me that isn't the scariest fucking thing ever? Anyway, the movie was just altogether is just freaky as hell, and that's something I cannot deny, and yes, I was very afraid. Now, normally I'm sure most people would not be afraid of a Bigfoot movie, but I have some defenses. Alright, number one, I was 7 years old. Okay, I was 7. Is that I was small, I was tiny, I was 7 years old. 2, I grew up in Colorado, where there's literally a Bigfoot crossing sign on Pikes Peak, which if you don't know, it's very cool. I'll put a picture right here. And 3, I'm very scared of things that are human-like, but like not human, if that makes any sense. So, like I said, the movie is called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and it came out in 1972, just 1 year after my father was born. My father was 1 year old, almost 1 year old when this movie came out. It has 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb and Amazon Video, and it's also got a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, which if you don't know, anything less than a 60 on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, means it's bad. For example, Donnie Darko has an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that means it's good. But this movie, yeah, it has a 45, so it's bad, it's rotten. This movie follows the locals of Fouke, Arkansas, as they're tormented by a hairy beast that they called the Fouke Monster. Very creative, I know. Fouke, Arkansas, by the way, is Texarkana. This freak of nature, okay, I said it, is apparently covered in dark red and brown fur, and is 7 goddamn feet tall. Also, it apparently stinks really bad. Like, bad. Which, yeah. I think somebody just got into a car accident. That's not funny. Alright, so I need you guys to know how genuinely afraid I was of this movie. As a 6, 7-year-old, watching this was not good for my mental health. I think this is where all of my problems started. So it opens with the most terrifying scene ever. Basically, it's just showing photos of Fouke and swamplands, presumably Boggy Creek. And there's audio, but it's just, I think there's some music in the background, but there's also just bullfrogs croaking, and it's sunset, and then there's this, like, fucking crashing sound, which I assume they want us to believe is the Fouke Monster, like, ripping trees down or something, but I don't know. The footage is extremely grainy, which is kind of given, considering it's from the early 70s, but I think that adds to the horror of the film. I mean, I love when shit's grainy like that. It's so good. It's so good. I fucking love it. So I forgot to mention before I actually started, this movie has a lot of reenactments of eyewitness encounters, and I honestly am not a huge fan of encounters being reenacted. That's my personal opinion. Some people might disagree with me. A lot of these cryptid shows have this formula where um, they'll do a lot of research and have a lot of cool folklore at the beginning, and then they'll go out and try to find these creatures, and this doesn't work for one of 2 reasons. Either they're just, these animals are not real and they're not going to find them, or they don't actually try. But like I said, that's my personal opinion. You can disagree. Everybody has opinions, don't let people online tell you what to believe. Alright, I'm gonna be hateful for a second. A Jeep Gladiator just drove by. If you don't know, a Gladiator is one of the Jeeps that has a fucking truck bed. It looks stupid as hell. So right after this opening sequence, we get a reenactment of a little boy, and he is running in a field, and he hops a fence. Hashtag 1971. I don't fucking know. So this little boy is running, and he gets to a little store where there's three men sitting inside, three older men. And this little boy goes up to one of them, and his name is Mr. Willie. And he asks Mr. Willie to come down to his house because, quote, there's some kind of wild man down there in the woods by the creek. Willie obviously does not believe him. So Mr. Willie is like, no, like, you're fine. Go ahead, go home, and tell your mom that I'll be down there tomorrow to check it out, get that wild man out of there, okay? So the kid leaves and goes back home. And Mr. Willie, there's a part that shouldn't, I mean, I'm assuming it's not very significant, but it was kind of significant to me, where he went, Mr. Willie goes, that's the third time this week that they've asked me to. So Willie's like, this is the third time this week that she's asked me to come down and get that wild man out of there. I'm like, okay, third time this week. Maybe you should fucking listen, Willie. It's always the men. So this little boy, he runs home, and as he's running home, it's getting dark, and he hears this fucking guttural, like, scream or, like, roar in the woods, and he fucking books it back home, as any of us would do, I presume. So then the narrator, who we can assume is this little boy, simply because, you know, is talking in first person. Narrators don't usually do that unless they're actually part of the story. He says one of the most haunting things I've actually ever heard.
I was 7 years old when I first heard him scream. It scared me then, and it scares me now.
So then we have the title screen, which obviously says The Legend of Boggy Creek. Then we see some really, honestly beautiful clips of Fouke, which I never thought I would say that, but Arkansas can be beautiful sometimes. Just a regular town. The narrator talks about just like the geography of the location, and it says that if you've ever driven from Shreveport, Louisiana to Texarkana, Texas, which Texarkana, Texas, Texarkana, Arkansas, Texarkana, we'll just say that, then you've driven right through Fouke, even if you don't remember it. Like I said, it's just a small, regular little southern town. There's a few schools and cafes and stores and gas stations. As for any small southern town, according to the narrator, most of the residents of Fouke are farmers and ranchers because the town was blessed with a lot of really good waterways, like swamps and lakes and rivers. So there's just a lot of water and really rich soil. So that, you know, it makes sense for there to be a lot of farms and ranches around that place. He says that Fouke is a right pleasant place to live till the sun goes down. Then we get a reenactment. I'm hoping this man didn't actually get attacked by the monster. So it's just a house surrounded by woods, and there's a creature growling in the back. We aren't directly told what this creature is, but I'm sure we're supposed to assume that it's the Fouke monster. And then a man comes out with a shotgun and he starts shooting at this thing, who hopefully is the Fouke monster and not just some random person in his house. And the narrator explains that Willie didn't believe when he first told him about the Fouke monster, but now he definitely does. And that kind of clues us in that this guy is Mr. Willie from the store earlier in the movie. Hashtag context clues. Hashtag fucking common sense, I don't know. I'd like to make it known that this movie was actually created and edited and filmed, all that, I don't know why I went like that, with the help of local high school students, which is very obvious. If you keep that in mind while you're watching it, if you go to watch it, you definitely can see that. But I don't think that makes it a bad thing. I really like the campiness of it, and it's definitely considered an indie film. I'm fucking scared. I don't know why. It's literally broad daylight. I should not be scared. It's fucking cold, actually. A little fun fact, actually, about this movie. The creator of the Blair Witch Project, Daniel Myrick, he actually cited this film as inspiration for the Blair Witch Project, which, if you don't know, is a 1999 found footage horror movie. And it was one of a kind. You know, it was a pioneer of its kind, and it's still holds up. It's an okay movie. I like the Scooby-Doo version. Speaking of Scooby-Doo, you need to stop. I literally filmed this video 3 times and I just keep yapping. A lot of the stories in the first half of this movie actually come from the Crabtree family. Fucking Fred, Travis, smoky. Kind of makes you wonder if they made it up. And I'm not accusing them of it. I'm just saying, how did everybody in this fucking family have an experience with fucking Bigfoot? Not fucking Bigfoot. No, they didn't. I mean, they might have. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they fucked Bigfoot. Who know? Who know? Who know? Who know? Jesus fucking Christ. I actually forgot to mention Smokey Crabtree. Smokey Crabtree is just this random guy, kind of. He was a rancher and he worked as a pipeline welder sometimes. It's not really important to the story. It just explains some of his encounters, which, by the way, are boring. A lot of encounters in this movie have to do with just the Crabtree family going into the woods, finding a creature, and the creature's doing something. Like, I think Travis, he said the creature was washing its feet in the creek, which, okay, maybe. Maybe it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just gonna say it seems highly unlikely. There's just so many eyewitness like reenactments in this movie, and in most of them, nothing fucking happens. It was about 30 minutes in when I started to get really bored because nothing is happening. They're seeing the creature, but nothing is happening. I'm fucking scared. Oh my god. My computer almost fell. 32 minutes into the movie, we get a terrifying monologue about the Falk monster retreating back into the woods and how nobody sees him or hears him besides the lonely birds as they sing. And then there's a song about animals and how they live and breed and die. I'm going to admit that fucking creeped me out. That song has always creeped me out, but it's called Lonely Cry. By the way, you can look it up. Look up Lonely Cry, Legend of Boggy Creek. Listen to it. Watch the fucking like thing. Um, it's scary. It's unnerving, accompanied especially with um the shots of the swamp while they're talking about this. I do think this song fits very well into the movie, especially when it's accompanied with those gorgeous but horrifying shots of the creek and just the swamps around Falk. I have to take this off. There's a really unsettling visual of the creature around 33 minutes in. It's just this guy seeing him in the woods, but it's still like creepy. There's another car. Oh, that's a truck. That's a black truck. These people, I feel unsafe. Tennessee during the winter. Am I right or am I right? It's fucking cold. But a lot of this is really vintage, obviously. Kind of vintage looking, grainy. And I really admired the visual of the creature, especially because they didn't have much to work with special effects and CGI wise. So they did a really good job at making it unnerving, and I really like that. So at this point, when I was writing the script, it was 4 p.m., and I told myself I was gonna fucking make the script and then film the video in the same day. I didn't get to that, and then it snowed, and then it rained for like 3 days straight, and then it flooded, and I feel like I was really being plotted against. They didn't want me to film this video. Despite my boredom and how late it was, I was like, okay, it's fine. And so I trekked on. At least I tried to. Because after this, we get fucking a 5 minute song about Travis Crabtree going into the woods and just fucking camping. We didn't need this. If you're the producer of The Legend of Boggy Creek or the director or you worked on it, I want you to listen to me. We didn't need this. Show me this creature ripping somebody apart. Show it to me, Rachel.
Oh my god. Show me to me, please. Send it to me, Rachel.
I need to calm down. But we didn't need a fucking 5 minute song about Travis Crabtree of all people. Why did you do this? Why? Okay. I'm okay. I'm done with my rant about that song now. It's annoying, but I'm done. Anyway, after this, there's a reenactment of some locals finding some big footprints. Not like big footprints, like big footprint. Well, yeah, big footprints, but like big footprints. Like they're big. Like the feet, the prints of the foot, they're big. And also created by. The prints are big, and the feet are big, but also created by Bigfoot, but I'm not. Also, there's this one part of the movie where he's talking to this guy who found the prints, and he's like, "Do you think these could be Sasquatch prints?" But he says it like Sasquatch. Oh, this guy's bringing his dog out. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! I'm gonna kill myself. Oh my fucking god! There's this one part in the movie, where he's like, "Do you think that like a Sasquatch, like, do you think it could be like a chimp or like an orangutan or like a gorilla?" And I was just sitting there because a gorilla in Arkansas. Can we be fucking realistic? An orangutan in Texarkana? I feel like Bigfoot is a lot more like Bigfoot as like a new species is a lot more plausible than a fucking orangutan in Texarkana. So at this point it was 55 minutes into the film and I was so bored. Like I didn't even want to continue. I was gonna scrap this video because I'm like, I can't fucking do it. Like if something doesn't keep my attention, I can't. But I kept going because I'm not a quitter. Only sometimes. Sometimes I'm a quitter. Like I said earlier, like a lot of the eyewitness testimonies and stuff, they're boring. And they've got nothing going on. Sorry, I'm not even looking at the camera because I heard something, but they're boring and there's nothing to them. Like usually people use like scary stuff for like eyewitness reenactments and testimonies in these shows. This one just is like, yeah, I saw it. And it like yelled at me. And that's like it. Like why is this important? Like I don't get it. Okay, I've come to the conclusion that what I'm hearing is chickens. And I'm gonna say that to keep my sanity. I'm just gonna say it's chickens. And now I'm tricking myself into seeing shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know why I'm so scared right now. So, later on, there's this reenactment of these couples that moved in together. They say this is real. I don't know if I believe this. They moved in together. Not they move it in together to save money part, but like what happened. They move in together to save money because, I don't fucking know. It's the 50s, or like 60s or something. America has just been pulled out of the Great Depression by World War II. Okay, not just, but I think I'm gonna do a video about World War II. So they move in together, and it's a really nice house. I don't think this is the exact house they moved into, but the house that they show in the reenactment is really nice. It's got like a high porch. It's out in the woods, but it's a really nice house. And really nothing happens. They just move in, and there is, however, this one part that's very scary. The creature, the fog monster, is kind of sniffing around the outside of their home, and he reaches through the goddamn window and grabs a woman. Doesn't pull her out. He just reaches through, gives her a little test the waters, a little caress, a little tickle wickle. What the fuck am I talking about? So he starts fucking rattling the doorknob too. So they go outside. They go to look like the men do. They don't find him, and they go back inside. One of them goes to go shit in the house, not in the house, in the bathroom. So he's taking a shit. This is so disrespectful. This monster fucking reaches in, breaks the window open, and tries to grab this guy while he's shitting. So he runs out, and he's like, "What the fuck?" So they go out. They go out again to try and find this monster, and they don't. Well, they don't at first, but they do. And the monster grabs the same guy that he just completely disrespected by interrupting his shit time, and fucking throws him through the front door. Like, I'm not even joking. This shit is insane. This creature is so disrespectful. In Smiling Friends, the Halloween episode, I think it's in season 1, they have the claymation demon that like scurries out of the water. That's what the fuck I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like freaking the fuck out right now. So near the end, we see the narrator again, but he's not a boy anymore. He's a man. He's a grown man, and he's in his childhood home, and he's just looking around, and we get this monologue. I'm gonna finish this inside. I'm in my kitchen now, and I'm gonna finish this video in my kitchen. So, like I said, this guy, sorry, I have cheese in my hand. He's in his childhood home. He's giving this little monologue, and it's kind of, uh, Kind of fucking crazy and scary. It's just like one of the most haunting things I've ever fucking heard.
But if you're ever driving down in our country along about sundown, keep an eye on the dark woods as you cross the Sulphur River bottoms, and you may catch a glimpse of a huge, hairy creature watching you from the shadows.
And that's the end. Kind of a bittersweet conclusion, if you ask me. This movie, I really can't even bring myself to say anything bad about it because it was a really big part of my childhood, and it also probably caused a little bit of my mental illness. And even though this movie fucking freaked me out, even to this day, when I was outside filming this, I was fucking scared reading about it. Even though it freaked me the fuck out real bad, I I really liked it. It was a good movie, and I really enjoyed rewatching it. And I do recommend it because it was kind of a pioneer in this cryptozoology genre. So what I recommend you doing this summer, I want you to invite some friends over. I want you to get some popcorn, some treats, some soda, whatever, some fucking Metamucil because you're gonna shit your pants. And I want you to turn this movie on. You can find it here. I also pirated it. I want you to watch this movie with your friends. Turn the lights down, light some candles, and just be in the moment. Because it's obviously it's not real, right? But what's fun about it is that it's so old. And you kind of get those vibes, you know. And it's good. It's a good summer film. It's a good summer, you know, freaky little movie. And I really do recommend you watch it. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video because I enjoyed rewatching the movie. Nobody really enjoys writing scripts. Maybe I don't know. I really think you guys should watch it, and I hope you enjoyed it because I did. Thank you for supporting me and watching my shit. It means the world to me. I really want to do more like internet drama videos too, not just cryptid stuff. And I really want to do the Hot Topic Fanatic like thing. If you don't know what that is, Hot Topic will send you things and you promote them. And I really want to do that. It seems really fun. But I have to have like 5,000, maybe 500,000, something like that, followers or subscribers on any one social media. So it's kind of my goal on here. Anyway, doesn't matter. Thank you for being here.